features within the diaspora, and hear what's on our minds. It's Alive at 5 on Fit 96.7, fitfmja.com.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. Join Fit FM 96.7 fitfmja.com for a simulcast of Primal Sports, an interactive sports program produced by Primal Media and presented by top sports activists. So tune in to a simulcast of Primal Sports on Fit FM 96.7 fitfmja.com and primal4k.com.
Fit FM 96.7 listeners in Jamaica and around the world. Here is your health tip for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Spend time alone. Spending regular time alone helps to get to know and stay in touch with yourself. We're all constantly growing and changing. Alone time is an opportunity to check in with how you're doing and what you want, so you can live your most intentional life. Some people enjoy hiking, going for a walk or run, meditating, or even sunbathing as a healthy source of alone time. I am Carlene Street, and that was your health tip on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Blessings and light. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary. Your host and the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. This and every Monday at 3 p.m. From the home to the community to the wider world. Let us be the change we want to see. Join me this and every Monday at 3 p.m. on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. Fit mind, fit body, fit community, fit world. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race.
Struggle goes on. We are the builders of the pyramids. We are the builders of the stone cities of Zimbabwe. We build them White House. We build them factories. With blood, with sweat, with tears. With flesh, with bones. Them use build them economy. Now them want come con you and me. With them science and them technology. We make them take with knowledge. Now them are deafly. Them are blindly. We are walk, we are ride, we are drive, we are fly. Nah, look, nah, see. Eyes focus on the screen of an iPhone, Galaxy, tablet, Blackberry. Wake up, look. Uno no sister them are very weak. Ancestors crying out. Them are weak, you see we heading back to slavery. Robotic, digital, technological slavery. The rich take them session, call it recession. Left the world in depression,
legal and illegal drugs and alcohol. On the rise. Yes, this is Fit FM, the community buzz. I'm Mara, the poetic, musical revolutionary. Guess what? I'm feeling like a king today. Right? You understand? One king with 8 queens. You see how that go? It's a beauty. We bless up all the people who are listening from across the world. Those who are listening on the World Wide Web, www.fitfmja.com, www.primal4k.com, and fitfm96.7.com. Your life, your music. Yes. How are you doing out there? How are you doing? Europe. How are you doing, Europe? How are you doing, South America? How are you doing, North America? Bless up my brethren who visiting from America. Yes, my brethren, Daniel. Go and full jar yourself, my brother. We soon come check you. Have a roast breadfruit and 2 East Indian mango. So, you know what I say? You're set. You're going to taste a piece of Jamaica. If you didn't before, or never before, you know. Anyway, we are here. We are here holding a vibration, and we are going to have a talk with these beautiful ladies. And you know that Jamaica is going on some serious vibration. And when we see, you know, people stepping up to make a change, we have to salute them, you know. And we believe that the change that is going to make Jamaica be a better place is in the hands, the womb, the minds of our female. It's time for a shift. We have been dominated by this patriarchal power for years. So we need some balance in the thing. And we have been crying out for that. As a man, me I cry out for it, but me I wonder what the female them say. If you don't believe that this patriarchal dominance need to go under, and you take up front and take the lead and make a change that you want to see, as we say, on Fit FM, we will be the change that we want to see. And so many things happening in Jamaica, you know. Julia just sent me something here. Let me just go to it and look on it again and see what is happening. Yes. Well, we know about this case. I'm tired to hear them cases still. And the whole vibration of people just get emotional and come out and then go back to sleep. And these things keep happening over and over and over. And as we speak now, these things are happening. Maybe not short now cut, but maybe a little child, maybe I get some form of abuse right now. So we need to stand up every day and be protective every day of our children. You know what I mean? We don't want when one child, you know, something come over the news, because not everything make the news. We must know that there's a lot of things that are taking place as we speak right now. And those who are there, you know what I mean, in silence and knowing that these things are happening and not taking a stance, well, you are also responsible for the predicament that we are in here in Jamaica, right? So, the Trelawney, for Trelawney, we will stand in Water Square. We are inviting all to stand with us on Thursday, June 15th, 2023, 12 noon to 2 p.m. And that is the Neighborhood Watch movement in standing in mourning against the murder of an 8-year-old Daniel Rowe, against crime in Jamaica. Crime is happening every day in Jamaica. And when we talk about crime, we not just talk about violent crime, because we are talking about the psychological violence that is taking place every day. Every day, people are suffering from this kind of psychological violence. And while we talk about this, and when we look towards standing up Thursday, and who don't want to go out in the square to stand up, you can stand at your home. If you're frightened, because a whole heap of people, you know, really fearful, but they're not scared, scale some fence to go into sands. I see some people are scale fence, you know, for going to one place where they call it, some event named sands. And you want to see the ladies, you know, go up on ladder and drop over to go into this event. I don't know who so special in these events that they want to go and see. I was wondering if Jesus come on over there and they want to go see Jesus, or some reparation money must be an out over there. And everybody want to go get a piece. But it's just songs and maybe some entertainers over there, that is going to get them a little hyper and then go home, with a one night stand, that is what it is all worked down to. Anyway, we could look to this because our people are still out there, saying roll back the 200+% politician salary increase. And we give thanks for the Advocate Network, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, we salute you, my sister. We salute all of the ladies and the women that is out there standing up because, see, again, is a lady and her organization taking the lead. We see Kay Osborne, former head of TVG, made a serious move the other day that was powerful. She lied on the road and said, watch out. We need this thing for rollback. So there's so much happening in our country, and we need to take a stand. We need to take a stand every day. And I'm always in this spirit, revolutionary spirit. And we must move from just the wretched of the earth and become gods and queens and princesses and, powerful people in the world. So we are going to read from Frantz Fanon. The colonized subject thus discovered that his life, his breathing, and his heartbeats are the same as the colonists. He discovers that the skin of the colonists is not worth more than the natives. In other words, his world received a fundamental jolt. The colonized revolutionary new assurance stemmed from this. If in fact my life is worth as much as the colonists, his look can no longer strike fear into me or nail me to the spot, and his voice can no longer petrify me. I no longer uneasy in his presence. In reality, to hell with him. Not only does his presence no longer bother me, but I am already preparing to waylay him in such a way that soon he will have no other solution but to flee. We have to stand up for justice and liberty. Yes, we salute the people out there. We are saying you can call in at 876-478-9144, 876-513-86668. Call in and, make your contribution because we are here on the community buzz, holding a vibration, as we say, Trelawney Festival Queens are here, and the show is coming up very soon. We'll go into that. But before we go into that, let's go to this track and then we'll come forward, right? Blessings.
when you're young, gifted and black. Your soul's in
Yes, young, gifted, and black. Young, gifted, and black. Who here can tell me the original artist who sing this song? Which one of you, Queen, can say who is the original artist? No, original artist. We're going to be tough pound today, you know. Know that. We are going to ask question, right? The original artist. All right. We'll come back here. There's a duet done by two senior artists in Jamaica. Right? One is, I'm going to give you a hint. One is the queen of reggae.
Marsha Griffiths.
And who is the other
Barry
person?
Salmon?
No. Who said it?
the DJ.
Put up your hand who say A at the first. Baba. You say Babandi. All right. Clap yourself. Miss New Champion, is that? All right. So there it goes. Babandi. But the original is a queen named, a revolutionary queen called Nina Simone. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some research on that revolutionary musical queen, Nina Simone. Young, gifted, and black, right? And that was a time of serious struggle when black women was going through all kind of things in America and the world, and she was there on the forefront as a revolutionary, standing up, playing music, but the music was not just to entertain. The music was to inspire and to, provoke the minds of the people that were going through all of those struggles. And here we are today, Etana, carrying on and holding the button, and expressing her vibration, So we give thanks. Well, it's a joy to be here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 queens plus 2 queen mother. And we're happy that we are here with these beautiful ladies, going up for Miss Jelani Festival Queen. And that will be on 17 of
June 2023.
Okay.
At 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m. Where?
At Glistening Waters.
All right. See? So I'm not do much talking today. We just ask questions. So, yeah. So, how are you feeling to be a part of this? I want to say noble contest, because do you know how old this contest is? How many years we are celebrating now? 60 years. Huh? 60 years. So when it started? 1963. You look a bit too bright, 1963. So we are, and I believe this contest started the same year that this GSCDC started, don't? 1963. So you are in what you call what Jubilee was celebrated last year? 60 was Diamond Jubilee. Mm-hmm. So we are in the diamond year of, the National Festival Queen. And we want to see if somebody from Miss Jelani Festival Queen going to become
in Jesus'
name. The National Queen.
In Jesus' name.
The National Queen.
In Jesus' name. Yeah. We claim it and decree it.
All right.
Right.
So, yeah, so, it is just always a joy to see young ladies, stepping up, and wanting to make a difference in life. And there's so much that is happening in the world today, in Jamaica in particular. And you are a part of what is happening. You can't excuse yourself. You are a part of all that is taking place, politically, economically. We hear them talk about 2030 vision. that you're a part of the 2030 vision. I don't know what role you're planning to play in that 2030 vision that they're talking about, or otherwise, Vision 21. Them trick you with so many things, because it's really started when this 2030 vision started in Jamaica. When? Anybody can tell me? All right, them start 2009, right? And them have them planned for the 2030 vision. What them tagline again? Anybody can just say it? Huh? Come on, Queens. Yeah, but those two.
To work and to make Jamaica a place where everybody can live and grow.
The tagline, exactly. To live,
to work, to grow your family in Jamaica.
raise family, and
Do business.
okay. But tell me something. Answer this question. That happen every day in Jamaica. When I work, raise family, and so always a vision.
Well, it is a vision because we can always, grow and achieve better.
Mhm.
So there's some things that we still need to change. For example, we're moving towards a constitutional reform, and that's
Okay,
making our
all right.
laws.
All right, just talk to the mic. And who is this talking to me?
Okay, well, my name is Imani Jean Pierre, and you asked the question whether Jamaica is already the place. I am Miss Gogas, Albert Town.
Okay.
And you asked the question as it relates to if Jamaica is already the place to grow, conduct business, and to have
No,
a
I asked the
family.
question if we are not already doing that.
Yes, we are already doing that. However, there are steps that we still need to take.
Okay.
And we're in the process of trying to reform our constitution, which is a big part of Jamaica, how we govern our people.
All
And so
right.
I believe that that's a part of the 2030 vision.
You believe that? I believe so too. I believe that too. What is your take on it? The whole thing of live, work, raise family, and do business.
Well, I stand in agreement. I'm sorry, let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
So my name is Erica Chambers, and I'm proudly sashed by HD Tiles and Home Decor Limited.
Okay.
Right. I stand in agreement with my fellow queen. However, maybe it's a case where, because of all the crime and violence that is taking place in Jamaica, we have persons fleeing the country, right? And they're fearful with all the they're fearful with all the crime, right, and violence that is happening in the country.
Mhm.
But as we look towards this vision, we're hoping that we'll have a change where we'll have our citizens wanting to remain in the country, where we will have maybe businesses, the crime and violence against women and children will be lessened, so we can live a happy and peaceful life.
Maybe we have to just make some quick shift that maybe two more can come, because we're going to continue with a question. I feel. Yeah, understand? So you two come cross with. This is it. It's a small studio, and we have to utilize it. Just come over. You come over, yeah, nice. Yes, and you go and introduce yourself. We're starting from the closest one to me, right?
Okay, I'm Bathsheba Harris.
Go close to the microphone, and yeah.
Okay, I'm Bathsheba Harris, and I wear the sash. It's Gateway Cooperative Credit Union.
And we're talking about Vision 2030. And we are looking on the tagline: live, work, raise family, and do business. Now, I am saying we have been doing that every day. We are living, we are working, and we are raising family, and we are doing business. I'm saying, oh, that is a vision while we are doing that.
I believe it is a vision because, like, the new approach towards living, because we're all living, but how are we living?
Good.
Right?
Good.
So it's the approach to living. How are we raising our families? One thing I noticed with the families is that we no longer have kids talking about learning from their grandparents. That's why something that I would implement is
Mhm.
because I know how to impersonate a grandma. So one thing I would implement is grandma reads in the society.
Okay.
So instead of doing it in schools, I will maybe hear it on the radio or
So
on
you
television.
impersonate grandma. You?
Lord Jesus. So because I hardly hear students say that their grandmother is reading to them,
Yeah.
right? So I want to implement that because I noticed when I was in the classroom, when I was teaching,
Yeah.
students were not listening to me when I was just coming and saying, it's story time. Even though
Yeah.
I would sing the song after singing the story time song, the students, they would no longer listen to me. So what I do, I came up with a plan.
Mhm.
I dressed as a grandma. I said,
Uh-huh.
I will introduce Grandma Ivy to them. So when I say, hello, students, it's story time.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do it. And the other day, when I was doing it as my regular self, they said, teacher, where is Grandma Ivy? So they want Grandma Ivy. So it's all we live,
Okay.
all we.
So you are one of the most, what I would say, important asset right now to even guide that because you come with something innovative,
Yes.
right? And being innovative, being creative in a space, and that is a part of the vision. They mention all of these things, the creative aspect of our country, and how we're going to utilize our creative capitals, to make sure Jamaica become a better place.
Yes,
right?
and how we use our cultural
And how we
programs
use our
as
cultural
well.
programs to expand it.
So expand it.
Queen,
Yes.
introduce yourself. May I call everyone on the Queen,
Hi, I am Yolanda Jones. I am proudly sashed by Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union. So, my take on this, as you said, we live, but how do we live, as my fellow queen said?
How we are live right now?
We're living from hand to mouth. We're barely surviving. We're not being paid enough. That's one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
We're not finding jobs that are willing to pay our livable wage.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, this vision is more for the development of our economy,
Yes.
building out our industries, such as our agricultural industry, where we can further export more goods out of our country so that we don't rely on tourism and imports as much as we do right now. So the vision is to be more self-reliant.
Yes. You sound like a politician. Huh?
Really?
You sound like a politician. And I
I
get
hope
back
to get
you.
there one day.
You hope to get there one day. Well, we need to talk forward to you in a few. All right, just switch and come over. We talk to the next two queen. You know what I mean? All right. It's the same question, You did hear the question, right?
Yes.
So come closer to the microphone, please, right? And I'm saying Vision 2030. And the tagline is to live, work, raise family, and do business. And I am saying we're already doing all of that. What new? What is the vision if we are doing all of that?
Well, hi everyone. I am Shakura Scarlett, and I am proudly stashed by Glastonbury Progressive Limited Company. Okay. So, Vision 2030: live, work, and do business. How are we living? Like my fellow queens have stated, how are we living?
It's really and nobody. You see? We are inside here and you're among your fellow queens. So just speak because it's radio. Don't get too shy, you know what I mean? You just go ahead.
Yes, like I was saying before, we need to come up with more ways to embrace what we're saying for Vision 2030. Because just saying a tagline, oh, Vision 2030, live work, how are we putting in place things to actually implement it or enforce that we are actually doing it? You cannot just say
Yeah.
that we're just doing something just by word of mouth. We have to see action in what we're doing at the time.
Right.
Okay.
Good.
My turn?
Yes, Queen.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Jamila Grant, and I am Miss New Champion Supermarket. Yes, so as a student of the Holland High School, recently we were having a class, and the teacher was basically telling us that Jamaica is one of the poorest countries in the Caribbean. And I was like, I was offended. Come and say, poor Jamaica. And I say, yes. And she was like, yes, we're only Haiti or above. So I'm saying with the tagline Vision 2030, even though we're living, as everyone stated before, that how we're living, it's really a way to say by that time we should be living better then. Or GDP should be a little higher, or not little, but it should be higher by that time.
You
So
know-
our living would be better, and the economy and so forth.
Since you touched that point about, remember it's 2030 we are talking about, and we are in when?
It's not far, to be honest.
So is
Close.
7 years time set, right?
Yes.
Do you believe we can achieve all of that, in 7 years time?
It's not impossible, but we'd have to do a lot of work.
Okay, we are here in hope here. So you believe, what role you think you as an individual can play in
Okay.
achieving that?
So because I know how rich our culture is, I believe that by using our culture, we could do a lot for the country. And also, Trelawney, them say a bush place. We have a lot of land spaces. I'm thinking that we could do more, like resources that we can export and so forth, so to get more income. And then that would help the country, because I personally believe that Jamaica is only depending on tourism, and we have more to offer than just tourism.
Perfect. You see, when we look on, because there are some things that is happening now. Somebody talk about constitution reform, and are we really living in Jamaica right now, right? Anyone of you really have any knowledge about the constitution, the present constitution? Have you seen it? No, we'll just finish with them and then yeah. Huh? So you can go ahead. Anybody really know about the constitution? How much knowledge you have about our constitution? Because that is one of the things that somebody said, boy, since we are, moving towards constitutional reform, you are the one who said that.
So, I am a finalizing legal student at the
Wow,
University of the
good
West
man.
Indies.
Happy to have you here. Yeah.
So I have a good enough knowledge on the Constitution. But remember, the Constitution is a way of life. It's really how you rule your people.
Yeah.
And fines are in there if someone infringes on your rights, so freedom of speech, freedom of movement. And what we're trying to do, well, what the government is trying to do, is to change some of the
Why
laws.
you change we and say the government?
Well, the government has to make some recommendation about what needs to be changed in the Constitution. So our Constitution is really based on British monarchy, because we're enslaved by England, right? And in the government, you have people who are a little bit more equipped about the laws and what we need to change. And Jamaicans still play a role in changing the laws, right?
I'm going to ask you one question.
Go ahead.
Because you said that. The people who you said have some knowledge of
Right.
what needs to be done.
Right.
The government, they are in power now. The government is ruling now.
Right.
Not getting too political, but everything is political.
It starts
Everything
from,
is
it starts
political.
from there.
All right, so there is where we're going.
But can I also?
So are you happy on how we're living in present day Jamaica?
I am not as happy with what's going on in our country, right? But I can say that a lot of us are speaking out more because silence is never the answer. So we're seeing a lot of marches coming up and protests, and I believe that a change is going to come sooner. There are times where dormant, we're not doing anything with the laws, and sometimes an outrage has to happen for people to really want change. So just the other day, an 8-year-old was killed. And I believe that more laws need to be changed to protect our women, and perhaps death penalty need to be reintroduced. But I believe that a lot of people are speaking out, and that's the first place we need to start from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else have anything to say? Yeah. Yeah, so that can reach over there. I saw it going on Facebook, YouTube. This is it, you know. We are in the studio of Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. We are on primal4k.com, www.primal4k.com, www.fitfmja.com on the World Wide Web. And we're talking to aspirants, queens, right? So, who else pertaining to the question of how do you feel living in Jamaica today, the condition that we are living? Are you satisfied with the living condition that we are facing in Jamaica today? Are you queens facing? Are you satisfied?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Or living standard right now is very poor. Very, very poor. As you've seen every single day. Oh, I am Miss Yolanda Jones, Miss Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union.
Yes.
Yes, no problem. But yes, as I was saying before, or crime rate, that's one of the things that really has me burning inside. Or crime rate. As you mentioned before, the 8-year-old being basically slain, taken from her school. We need more security when it comes on to our children or women. I feel depressed when I think about it. Very depressing. I put myself in the shoes of a mother, even though I'm not one as yet. I cannot imagine.
Yeah, go ahead. Next. Introduce yourself, Queen. With a hand that question. Oh, your concern and the way we are living in Jamaica. Just say it. Just go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Erica Chambers, and I am proudly sashed by HD Tiles and Decor Limited. To be honest, I think our society is really suffering. And it's not even just in as it relates to crime and violence. It's not only on crime and violence, because as a teacher, right, of the William Knibb Memorial High School, you will see our teachers protesting, right? I'm rather perturbed as it relates to the inequity in the current salary negotiation or salary structure, right? Because in the classroom, we are more than just a teacher. Right, we are lawyers, we are mothers, we are fathers, and I must big up my form class, 9 Falloon. I represent on a daily basis 42 students, and I'm excluding those who I teach, the other grades. I'm just talking about my form class. And in our society now, as teachers, we are complaining. Why? Because we are not treated fairly. why can't we be given a livable wage that will allow us to remain in the country and represent our country? Because really and truly, some of us enter into the education system because we love teaching, we love kids, we love our students, and we want to see them strive, right? Because when I was in college, my aim was to always empower the nation's youth. And coming into the system now and seeing how it's running, my heart saddens, because even with the 8-year-old, I believe that the school system, security policy system needs to be revised. How can someone come on the compound and just take a child without permission?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Without a parent giving permission to say, okay, Miss Chambers, please release that child to someone.
I'm going to give you something to think about
Yes, sir.
while you say that.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to 2 security guards recently, and they told me that they are working. The highest that they got per hour is 360 Jamaican dollar. So just think about a security guard who most of the time maybe get 200 and something Jamaican dollar per hour. What can motivate him to protect anybody? Just think about that. Next.
Okay, the same question. Or please
Same
repeat the
question. Yes, we are talking. Just remember the question. Your concern on how we are living in Jamaica today.
Okay, my concern with how we're living in Jamaica. Okay, I'm Bathsheba Harris, Miss Gateway Cooperative Credit Union. So as my name, it's more weirder than everyone else or more unique.
Yes.
So my concern would involve a unique group such as myself. So my name is Bathsheba. It may sound weird, but the meaning of my name is daughter of 7, which means, 7 is the number of perfection.
Okay.
In like manner, persons may view persons with disability in a bad light, but deep down they do have something to offer. And in Jamaica, I'm not seeing where they're catering much to students with disabilities or students with special needs. Even in the classroom, they're often misdiagnosed. So teacher will say that dunce boy, they have no sense, retarded or whatever. But they don't know that we are students, they have multiple intelligences. So some, you have the naturalists. Some students, they would love to learn and go outside. You have some, they're kinesthetic, they want to be doing hands-on and so the schools, in my opinion, they're not catering to students with differing learning abilities, and that's a concern of mine. That's why currently I'm pursuing a degree in special education so that I can use my little grandma side, my little yes, the innovative side of me, so that I can assist Jamaica in
All
this
right.
way.
Next.
Same.
All right. Yeah. Your concern on how we are living in Jamaica. Yes, presently, the living condition in Jamaica right now.
Good afternoon again. I am Jamila Grant, and I am Miss New Champion Supermarket. Besides the way we're living, I personally have an issue with autism because I am 5 feet and
Heightism.
I don't rather.
Heightism. What? You coined that word?
No, it's a word. It's a discrimination towards, yes, your height. But it's mainly against, basically, women are the reason it even exists, because usually women would say, I don't want a man who is less than 6 feet. But in my case, I take it at a different angle. So because I appear small,
yeah,
I am 19 years old, and because I have big dreams and aspirations, I am usually, people normally say, you can't do that. Because I want to be a journalist. And they would say, Jamila, oh, you're going to be journalist. So you say, I say, just watch, never do it. But I have family members who probably, if they're hearing right now, they'll feel guilty because, yes, they always say, Jamila, you're too short, or you can't do this. Yeah, so that's my concern right now. And I also have a concern with how costly it is to be transferring or transitioning from high school to tertiary education.
Wow, great point. Don't worry about autism. You want to you one thing with them say you little about your talent. So you stay taller here. Don't worry about them and them height thing. Who else? We're going through everybody pertaining to that question. All right. You know, we are in a time where them say is what Generation X. That's what you call yourself, or is the next generation coming? Yeah. And within this generation, them say you are the high-tech generation. Yeah. And if you are the high-tech generation, you're most familiar to the high-tech world that seems like it is going to take us over. And they're using a term, AI, artificial intelligence. Now, when you think about all of these things, you know, we're moving into, and not just moving, we're in that age because it is happening now as we speak, right? Siri and all of these things, and Chat GPT and all of these things. You know, when you go up on the road and you're lost and you want to find somewhere, you just go up on Google Map and it's artificial intelligence. But we see them take it to another level. What's your view on this new age? How you feel it is going to affect us? Will it be something that is going to, especially your generation, me a old man, me a kind of left that age, you know. What you feel, you know, just explain to us how you feel that is impacting the world today, positively or negatively. Go ahead.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Shakura Scarlett, and I represent Miss Glastonbury Progressive Limited Company. Okay. So, with the term AI, I believe that our Gen Z, all of us, I'm pretty sure that all of us here are Gen Zs, right? So, I believe most of us.
Gen Z. Tell the people, because you see, we are whole people, you know, and when you say Gen Z, what a generation. What? That's what it means?
1998.
No, you just
2000. 2000. We remember 2000. Okay, so
We are not a part of that.
Yeah.
So
yes.
you just said Gen Z. What that means?
Basically
2000 kids were born in a time when technology is very advanced.
Okay.
But I can definitely say artificial intelligence is both beneficial and it can also be destructive, right? We've had the privilege to use our phones to reach each other, Google, and have anything in a couple of minutes, right? I believe that artificial intelligence helps with business proficiency, so we're able to get through quicker in lines. However, there is a destructive part where it could be used to create harmful weapons that could hurt us. And even though we have the artificial intelligence, we can see where it affects our children because they're so reliant on using technology, right? They can just go online and create an essay. So although we have artificial intelligence that can help us to get tasks done quicker, we want to be careful to use it in a very productive way.
May I ask you one question?
Go ahead.
Do you feel like it is rendering some of us useless?
It can in some areas. It can in some areas, and that will affect our families. However, we've seen where it has helped in medical research as well, you know, for cancer researches and stuff like that. But it can cause some professions to be obsolete, and people are worried about that. But one thing about artificial intelligence is that men created it. And so there's still errors. And one thing that technology doesn't have is human emotions, right? And cannot make certain
We're going
decisions.
to come forward to that.
Okay, I'm Bathsheba Harris, Miss Gateway Cooperative. I remember once I saw a picture with, the big box TV that they once have. And in those times, you see a slender person. Now they have the the flat screen TV, and now you have big belly people. So saying that to say that even though with technology it saves, like it has labor saving appeal, it will pose disadvantages as well. So even though it may assist you with some of your day-to-day activities, it poses some consequences or it poses some disadvantages. So it will lessen your cognitive ability. So persons won't be able to think as because I'm now seeing that, because I do write poems sometimes, and I see where persons are using apps to know, formulate the words for them to write poems. So longer we'll have persons who say, "Oh, I'm a poet," and they believe you because they go say, "Oh, I'm maybe the app that she used and write the poem there." So you understand? So yeah, I believe that even though it has a labor saving appeal, it's pose disadvantages.
Yeah, that point.
Okay. So before my fellow queen had taken over my question.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so like I was saying before, with our I'm sorry, I should have introduced about myself. I am Shakura Scarlett, Miss Glastonbury. Okay, so with our Gen Zs, like the 2000 babies, not millennials or boomers, like we used to call them. The 1980s people type of. Okay, so I am saying that it is very useful to use AI's technology in any aspect of the word, because imagine you're in hospitals now, in the healthcare system, because I'm sure I want to become a doctor. I'm actually a certified nursing assistant. In the hospitals, I'm seeing that no, you don't have to be waiting in lines. If we have a technology like AIs, we don't have to be waiting in lines to be getting through, when it would normally take like hours before you could get to the doctor. You could simply come up to the doctor, you check your name, tell them what you have to do, and then with the click of a mouse or whatever, you can get through what you have to deal with and go to the doctor. It also helps with going to help with diagnosis, like my fellow queen has stated. With this cancer research, we are now trying to find a cure for other diseases coming up. And even diseases that haven't been even tested, we are even trying to formulate a cure for them before they even come out. Take COVID, for instance. COVID was in 2020. And by 2021, the latest, I think we had a cure. Not cure. I mean a vaccine. I'm sorry for that word. Vaccine, not cure, vaccine. We had a vaccine for it to help combat with this virus. So even though it has some very fast advantages, I believe that we also have some very, very, very harmful negative effects on how we use it. Because with AIs nowadays, with online banking, there are a lot of cyber crimes. Like you go on the internet now, you want to transfer some money, you go in the banks, you can go in the banks and get through with whatever you have to do with a click of a finger.
Go in the bank or online?
Online and in the banks as well. Because when you go in the banks, you basically don't need a teller most of the times. You can just go on the tablet and do it. Well, I really do not know what to say right now because it's like they're non-existent, to be honest.
Okay.
Yes, redundant.
All right.
Redundant, I should say.
Well.
Yes.
I think they've said it all.
No, I want to hear your views. You get it.
Well, I'll just say it a different way then. My name is Erica Chambers, and I am sashed by HD Tiles and Home Decor Limited. As it relates to AIs, I believe that if they are implemented in our society, it's going to have negative impacts and also positive impacts. Because with the implementation of artificial intelligence, jobs are going to be made redundant. And if this is so, we are going to have families being affected. If someone loses their job, then there's not going to be any income for their families to rely on. Additionally, as it relates to learning. If a computer can do everything for us, why would we then need to watch a video or read a book to learn something? As Sir said about Chat GPT, you can just enter a textbook and it sums up the textbook for you instead of reading. If you want a poem on love, you can request a poem on love and you will get a well-written poem. However, on the positive aspect now is that the jobs will be lessened for humans, because once a computer or a system is serviced properly, then it can work for hours. And as humans, we tend to complain that we are tired and we want to go home because it's getting late. But in my opinion, really and truly, I don't think that we should totally eliminate humans from the production line. And I believe that human interaction is very important for human development.
Great. Yeah, we are talking about it. We want to hear all views.
Okay, I'll put my little 2 cents.
Yeah.
So what I hear.
Name,
I'm Yolanda Jones,
Yeah.
Miss Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union, and as my fellow queens were saying, AI, it can be harmful and it can be a positive thing for us. And a lot of people forget that AI can be used for entertainment. I have seen where, I'm sure you guys have seen on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, where they were using the AIs to generate different songs from artists, changing their voice, like Drake sang a reggae song. It can be used for many things. And I think that while it can be used for those things, it can also be detrimental.
Good.
Because I have seen where they have this thing where it's AI generated. You take a picture of someone's face and you can put it on an entirely new different body. You can put it on somebody else's body. You can Photoshop persons into scenarios where they weren't. And that poses security risk for everyone. So I believe that's my little 2 cents. Yes, they've said it all.
Who else? Anybody else on this AI thing? Everybody say it all. One thing will grab me. Lessening your cognitive ability. You see, that is something that we must think about, you know what I mean? Because and the next thing is that when it comes to being replaced because somebody say you're too lazy. So those who are lazy must make themselves become very active, because that is what is happening to us now, The people who have all kind of remote and them lie down with them remote and them now move and then he have them chips and you know what I mean? And some of the jobs that them say AI that is going to replace is like, imagine driverless vehicle, and that is happening already. It's not any joke thing, you know what I mean? We talk about the banking system, and we are going to go to the next question now and the next issue and the topics, and these things are things that are happening right here in Jamaica, which is what we call the cashless society. CDBC, Central Bank Digital Currency. And we must also remember these things. We're going to take a break and come forward to the question. We're going to bounce piece of music so we can groove to it and then, just freshen up on the head and, let me hear it.
And put the steer of adversity in a Babylon face. Them kill every poor people, God shall take the case. Take it, get to youths, get real, get real. Unrealistic, don't just be a statistic, never. Hump up, yo. In a Babylon we can't cramp up. Good self-esteem, slow Philistine. Not everything you can achieve in one go. Some things are very hard, but when you overcome that hurdle, you get a sense of real reward. Even the greatest stumble, but still don't let down your guard. You got to motivate yourself, elevate yourself. No underestimate yourself, push yourself, go for your dreams, and you'll achieve. You'll find out how success feel. Just keep it real, don't drop your shield. The brave fall, but they never heal. Yeah. Every great story of a history, it takes guts and zeal in order to achieve your victory. You gotta put your shoulders to the wheel. Even when you fail or you get derailed, buckle your belt and lace your shoes, cause you must prevail. Time for all when you want, make sure you set for sail. And aim for bullseye when you get the chance to hit the nail. Reality is more than a fairy tale, so strive to the heights like a nightingale. Even though obstacles might up on the trail, never you be afraid to go for your dreams, and you will achieve. You find out how success feel, just keep it real, don't drop your shield. The brave fall but they never heal. Yeah, every great story of a history, but it takes guts and zeal in order for you achieve your victory. You gotta put your shoulders to the wheel. Several time rise and several time fall. Brush off yourself and go stand tall. Motivate yourself and conquer it all. Even when you
Yes. Welcome forward to the Community Buzz. This is Imara, the musical revolutionary. We are on the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. We are also simulcasting on www.primal4k.com, and we're on the World Wide Web, www.fitfmja.com. And we say, you're out there, you can call in, you know, if you have any question for these queens, you can just, you know, post your question or, you know what I mean, send in a WhatsApp on 478-9144, 876-513-6668. So we are here and we are talking the state that we are in Jamaica, and we have future leaders here with us, you know, and some of them are already leaders, you know, in their own way, because if you are in the schoolroom teaching, you're a leader. You must know that you're a young leader, and, you know, whatever skills that you possess at this time, you know, in your life, you're using it for yourself, and you're also using it to impact other lives, you know. So when we look on the world that we are living in today, and it is still most of the things that we are talking here about, you know, pertaining to artificial intelligence, cashless society, all of these things are a part of a Vision 2030, right? Now, we see where this grand announcement made recently that we are going totally cashless. When you heard a statement like that, how do you feel? You know, what comes to your mind immediately? You know, what pop up in your head? Cashless society. Just the term cashless.
No more ATMs. No more ATMs.
Just that?
Money availability on readily. Have it on your phones. Whenever you want it, you can use it. You don't need to hunt down an ATM to go find some cash if you need to buy something.
It is as easy as that.
Yes.
Wow. May I come forward to you. Next.
What comes to mind is a lot of implications. Can I expound on that?
Yes.
In my opinion, I think our society is not ready, because hard cash is something that we have been accustomed to over the years, and to eradicate that in a few months, we're going to have some issue. Because whilst we understand that, you know, the production of cash is a bit costly, we must remember the informal economy that takes in our vendors that uses cash on a daily basis, right? And also, I think we don't have stable internet providers. And, you know, if we are going to go cashless, we're going to need internet to do our day-to-day business transactions. And if we are supposed to also embark on this journey, are we even considering our elders? Are we considering them that they are not so tech savvy, right? And not all time, not everyone will have a person that they'll trust to do their business for them. So in my opinion, if we do go cashless, we should still have hard cash.
Next.
Well, as the two queens explained, that going digital currency would be kind of difficult.
Always identify yourself.
Oh, my name is Imani Jean Pierre. I am Go Gas Albertone. Right. As the two previous queens said, that going cashless would be a little bit difficult. One major concern would be security of our money. Right now, a lot of Jamaicans are worried about saving in the banks, as money have been going missing and the banks have not been accountable. And so I believe that going cashless might be tricky right now, since we don't feel safe with putting our money in the banks, given the situation with money going missing in some accounts.
Okay.
Yes.
Putting money in bank. That time they are come to him, I will have nothing to put in at the bank.
Okay, I am Bathsheba Harris, Miss Gateway Cooperative Credit Union. So I believe if we should go forward with the cashless society, we should first educate others about it. Because I will always defend the grandma persona. Because with grandmothers or the old persons, they always want to have cash in hand. And they always have a little money and squeeze it and say, yeah, my grandson or whatever, yes. And with the digital currency, they may not be aware how to use it. As well as not only not being aware how to use it, they may not trust others with it, because grandmother not trust, or old people not trust people with their money. So they won't trust others with it. And also, one of the disadvantages of digital currency is that it's irreversible. So poor grandma trying to send off a money to Yolanda and go make mistake or send it to Eric K, where she never want Eric K knows that she have money. So yes, that pose, it can be positive. There are positive sides and there are also negative sides to it.
Next.
I don't have much to say, but I feel like there should. Oh, sorry. I am Jamila Grant, and I am Miss New Champion Supermarket. I believe that there should be an option, because you will have persons who are in agreement to this, and then you have some who will doubt it. So I feel like there should be, if the world is changing, because technology has been changing everything, there will be the younger generation will probably like this idea, because they want to do everything on the phone now. So, but then the older generation, they're still here, and they will not like this. So I would say, if it is that they are going to start this new digital currency, yes, there should be an option. Yeah.
Next.
Okay, good. Hello everyone. I am Shakura Scarlett, Miss Glastonbury. Okay, so as the fellow queens has stated, there are some positive and negative impact of having the digital currency. One, I think my major concern though would be the attractiveness for hackers. Yes. So while having online banking would be a great thing for our youngsters, and I think it is also, you have to also take in consideration that we are not the only ones in the world, because we have our Miss Grandma. So we have our grandmas, our grandpas, our elders. So we have to also take in consideration that they are a part of us as well. They help to build our generation. And meanwhile, our youngsters are more tech savvy. It is easier for them to go online and do what they have to do. And with the cyber hacking, I should say, it is easy for them to just, at the click of a finger, to just take what they want without the permission, and not be held accountable for what they're doing, without you even recognizing that they did something until a very late date. So I believe that we should also take in consideration that it has some very negative impacts before doing what we have to do.
Wow. Now, you just talk about you just say something about on the phone. Do you realize that this thing is going beyond our phone? If you understand what I mean. Beyond the phone. That there comes a time when you don't need the phone anymore. What do you think about that? Huh? And this is when they say centralized. We must pay attention, you know. Lawyer, you know of this thing called the Proceeds of Crime Act. You understand what that means? Some knowledge. Can you say what knowledge you have about the Proceeds of Crime Act? All right, let me update. There's something now pertaining to the Proceeds of Crime Act that you can't spend more than $1 million to buy anything.
In terms of like reduction on scamming and
no, it's not. It's more than reduction and
Yeah.
scamming, right? So just pay attention. Proceeds of Crime Act, and what is it? That if I have $1 million and I want to buy a car, or $1.2 million and I want to buy a car from you, right? And I have the cash. If I go ahead and buy the car, you and I, become two criminals. You committed a criminal act. Do you know that? No. Just look on a central bank digital currency, where, for instance, the right so on your money just can't spend within the territory that you are in. We want all of you to look into some of these things, because you are the generation and things are coming at you and you are hearing things. But what about your investigative mind? Somebody used the term lessen our cognitive ability, that we think, because this is the age that we must think. And while we're talking about 2030 vision, where this vision come from? Who are the architects behind this? Is it that our people here in Jamaica? It is there from about 2009. And from 2009, there's a term called war and cash. So remember, there's a thing from that time till now, they're putting in plans for you all. Now, constitutional reform. We just all finish with that part. And whoever say, or let me hear your views in seeing a new constitution. What are some of the things that you believe you would like to see in the new constitution? What suggestion you have? You're thinking?
Well, I could talk about just two, so that everybody else have something else to say.
Yeah.
The court is very important. We're still at the Privy Council. And so other countries like Barbados and Trinidad are a little bit ahead, and they have taken on the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice. And in Jamaica, we have seen where the perpetrators hurt victims, and it takes years, multiple years, for them to be convicted, to the point where they cannot find persons who have witnessed the crime. So if it is that we no longer go to the Privy Council, England, to assist us, and we have a court right here with Caribbean judges, Caribbean lawyers, then we can get more justice, restorative justice for those who are affected. And lastly, I would say that more needs to be done in relation to crime and violence, in terms of stricter penalties and perhaps a death penalty. We can't have our women and children being scared, right?
May want you to tell me one thing where you would have put in the Constitution to protect yourself. You see, it's reform. They are putting in they are going to create a piece of document, right, that will govern your life. I'm not sure something, because I may have a whole copy right here, so I not left it. Go ahead while we talk about constitutional reform.
Yeah, I'm Bathsheba Harris, Miss Gateway Cooperative Credit Union. So what I think they should put in place to not only benefit me, but persons, ordinary people like myself,
with others is that Jamaicans should have access to like crown lands, so that most persons in Jamaicans, they're known as squatters. I want them to now be known as landowners.
Good. Clap her for that.
Grandma cater to the family.
All right, Grandma.
Sorry, who else? Anyone else?
Nobody wants to talk about constitution reform? I can't understand why you maybe shying away from it. Because me certain say none of you don't know nothing about this.
Not fully.
Yeah?
Not fully.
Never read it.
But it wasn't really embedded. Or it wasn't really embedded at the time, You take things for granted when you're seeing them for the first time, but when it actually comes into play in your life, that's when you're like, I should have paid attention to this.
So are you paying attention now? Because it's a serious thing, All right, let me just say something. Let me read something from this that you can have a little bit of knowledge. Just have one little paragraph up or so. The Queen's most excellent majesty in council, Her Majesty, by virtue and in exercise of the powers in that behalf by subsection 1 of section 5 of the West Indies Act 1962, or otherwise vested, is pleased by and with, you hear the language, the advice of her privy council. You know what privy mean? Huh? What? Private, or private council, right? To order, and it is hereby ordered as follow. So this is an order by the crown. Now we are in a situation now where constitutional reform is taking place because there's a committee. There's a 15-member committee, right? Doing that now. Now I am saying, as young people, you must participate in the process of any document that is going to infringe upon your fundamental liberty, right? They use the word liberty specifically because to me, sometimes when we say rights, sometimes we don't even understand how deep that is, or we violate each other every day. Because this is something that we have been doing. And politicians are some of the main culprits. Now, we are winding down, and we're happy that you are here. And we wish you all the best for the coronation night. That's the word, coronation night. And we want to allow the parish manager to come and say a few words, because she's the one who is the head cook and buckle washer in all of this, you know what I mean? So we are going to get back to you if you want to stay with us a little longer, but we just got you, So come across Miss Stewart. Kind of strange calling you so still.
How are you, sir? I'm good to be here.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you had us here on the community buzz.
And I'm happy that you are here.
And the young ladies are buzzing.
With your buzzing, bubbling young ladies.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant minds. Now, tell us about what will happen on the 17th.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
The coronation of the Miss Trelawney Festival Queen will take place at Glistening Waters. 8 o'clock we begin. And if you don't have a ticket, you don't stand a chance. It's a ticketed event, and if you don't have a ticket, you can't come in. Over the years, we would have had a paid event.
Okay.
So you come, you buy a ticket, and you get in. Last year, because it was Jamaica 60, it was a free event.
Okay.
This year, it's JCDC 60.
Okay.
And it's also free to the public. When I say free, you still have to have a ticket to be seated. So it's not like I can just come and rush in. Because we have to have the control for the numbers and the people who come in. So these young ladies are going up for the crown, and we wish them all the very best. Anybody can win, listening to them here this evening, this afternoon. Certainly, we want to say thanks to our sponsors, because this year was kind of a difficult year, put it that way, to get sponsorship. Some things that we're used to doing for the Festival Queen, we were not able to do it this year. And it's because of the lack of funds. But there are persons who still came on board and assisted us. And we saw the young ladies wearing those sashes this afternoon. We really want to big up those persons. They're standing all the time and they help, because this is really a community event, you know.
Yes.
It is a community event. All parishes are having their parish Festival Queen. So this is really a community event. And we want to say thanks to the young ladies who stepped forward. As I said to them, the minute you decide to enter the competition, you would have won.
True.
So everybody's a winner.
Yes.
And we really want to, say thanks to the sponsors. Miss HD Tiles and Home Decor. That's HD Tiles and Home Decor. Then we have Miss Gateway Cooperative, and we have the two credit unions together. And Trelawney Cooperative started out of the community.
Yes.
Right, we have Miss Glastonbury Purveyor Company Limited, Miss Go Gas Albert Town, and Miss New Champion Supermarket. We really want to say thanks to the sponsors, and we also want to say thanks to Fit FM for hosting us this afternoon on the community bus.
And we're happy to have you here. We're happy that you are here, and we are saying all the best, on Saturday night, and this whole friendship, this whole camaraderie, yes, with all you young ladies, it's beautiful, and I hope that you keep the connection, the link, no matter who comes out the winner on Saturday night.
Who comes out with the crown? Because they're all winners. I was saying earlier today to the lady who had the concern about heightism. I was saying to her earlier, we are just watching her blossoming, because she really came into the competition 2 days after her father died.
Wow.
He was buried on Saturday, and she came into the competition 2 days after he died. She said, I'm doing this for him.
Yes.
And I've watched her just come into herself. And today she said, I'm not really shining, but I come in and I read the room. And I get comfortable with you people, So the competition does that. It brings people together who never know them, each other. And after a while, sometimes it blossoms into longer lasting relationships. And we're hoping that this year is no different.
Don't worry about heightism. One of the greatest men of the world ever see. Maybe not even a little bit taller than you.
Who's that man?
His Imperial Majesty, King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
Yes, he was short. Yes.
Yeah, go and study and his Imperial Majesty and understand how short he was. You know what I mean? So
I know impactful he would have been with his leadership.
As a leader, an emperor, more as powerful as the Queen of England. It's a long lineage of great emperors, Haile Selassie the first. So you look about your Talawan, watch that, you understand? Yeah.
So thank you, sir, for having us. All the very best.
Yes.
Good to be back at Fit FM.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing the program again.
Maybe you need to come forward.
Come back.
Forward,
Come forward, okay. Anything is possible.
We're in the back team.
Yes,
Yeah, so we're happy that you're coming, and we're looking forward to see you all on Saturday night. And it always, whenever I'm there at Jamaica, I always there to show them, and I always full joy to show them, and say it will not be any less, even though you yesterday money shot,
Yes, the show will be.
Yeah, I'll do it free,
You have to
it's
have a
still
ticket
of a cost. There's no such thing as freeness,
We don't want anybody to climb the walls.
Yeah,
So we have to
no.
have a, we have to have a ticket.
Well, security, you know, will be there. So
Yeah.
nobody now can get to go climb the wall. You understand? It's a secure place. Yeah. Glistening water.
It will be held at Glistening Waters, yes.
Yeah.
8 o'clock on Saturday.
8 p.m.
8 p.m., yes.
All right.
All right.
So
Thank you so much for having us.
all right.
Thank you, Miss Julia. Thank you, Imara.
Blessings and light.
Former Queen Julia, former Queen.
Yeah.
Former Queen.
So
And look at her now.
who is going to make sure
Yes.
Trelawney
Takes home the crown.
become we'll have to check Julia off air.
Off air.
Right?
All right.
So whether I will have a couple more, maybe an next half an hour for the bus. So you
We're
know,
going to leave you.
yeah, but left me. All
Yes,
right, no
we're going to
problem. You know, me and Julia there same way. So,
Okay.
and we are
Okay,
primal,
yes.
you know. Big up the people of primal, Joel, you know, enough respect, my brethren, Nehema, enough respect, you know, stay strong. We are here. And we say, people you still can call in, you know, you still can call in 876-478, 9144, 876-513-6668. We are here on the community buzz. Bun space a tune, the Julia, make we cool down.
Gifted and black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted and black. Open your heart to what I mean. In the whole world, you know, there are a billion boys and girls who are young, gifted and black, and that's a fact. Young, gifted and black, we must begin to tell our young. There's a world waiting for you. This is a quest that's just begun. When you're feeling really low, ooh, there's a truth you should know. When you're young, gifted and black, your soul's intact. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Young, gifted and black. Oh, how I long to know the truth. There are times when I look back and I am haunted by my youth. Oh, but my joy of today is that we can be proud to say, to be young, gifted and black is where it stands. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. All right. Yeah. Young, gifted and black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted and black. Open your heart to what I mean. In the whole world, you know, there are a billion boys and girls who are young, gifted and black, and that's a fact. Young, gifted and black, we must begin to
Yeah, young, gifted, and black. And they were here. Some young, gifted, and black queens, you know what I mean? And this is the future. This is the future of Jamaica. And we just want them to grow up and take charge. of their lives, because that's the responsibility that they all have, They must take control of their lives, because there are some people who should sit down on a rocking chair now on a veranda and really take care of them grandchildren, but them still there I try to direct the lives of these young brilliant minds, So we're happy that they were here and share their views. But there's so much things happening in Jamaica, and we're going to go forward to this little girl, and I saw somebody, trying to find out what the security did there, and we're looking on what is even happening right now pertaining to people still protesting, asking politicians to roll back them 200 and odd %. And as I hear a few of the Queen express their views pertaining to the living condition, that they are not living well. They are not living well in today's Jamaica, while some people were talking about constitutional reform, talking about Vision 2030. They are living well, and they are doing business and making millions and paying themselves millions. And yet our people who are working hard, we will get up and we will cuss out the security guard when they are at the school gate to say, oh, could you make such a thing happen? But the security guard, maybe did they worry, or am I going to pay him rent, and, or am I going to send him youth to school, because maybe youth not even come to school to be because of the kind of salary where him get, I see our sister, I don't know what flying off her head, Lisa Hanna, came out recently trying to justify, the salary increase. What a shame. What a sad thing, How you want to do such a thing, my great sister, Why you think that you should have tried to justify something like that? And at the same time, pointing out the reason why you believe you should paid at such a high cost, and you're talking about the delivery of service. And this is it. If we are going to talk about delivery of service, everybody must at least feel that there is some kind of equity, and we must look on these things. We must look on these things, because that is why we are in the state, the inequity in our country. You understand? And the system that we are in, it is designed for that. And if you have a system that is designed for inequity, then you're always going to have what we call crime and violence, because it means that somebody is going to take away from what the other person supposed to get. And some people will always be resisting and trying to live a better life, and they are going to do it by whatever means necessary. So the first thing you have to look on, who really creating the environment to produce more crime? Who are really the criminals? We must look on these things. We must investigate these things. We must sit at the table and talk about these things, because one of the things that we realize that we are doing, we are so reactionary in all of our doings. We react to situation. I believe we're supposed to reach a point in our lives now where we can at least have the foresight to see what is coming, the insight to see where you are at, know where you are at, and see what you are doing now. And if you know what you're doing now, at least you will know what the outcome will be. You know what I mean? Because where we are at is because of what happened before while we were there. So if we are at a point now, we must do what we can do within the now to change the future, because the now is the future. The now, this moment that we're there, so we just have a piece of history took place a while ago, because it will never happen like this again. 6 beautiful ladies came into Fit FM studio, and they said what they, had in their mind to say, and them gone. So this moment, that moment, will never repeat. Nowhere. You know what I mean? So it's the same kind of vibration. It's the same thing So we see we are even the cockpit country, we see so much things happening. Me and my great sister, Simona, always talk, and she said to me, "What do you say, Mara? What is taking place in Jamaica, is the weapon of mass destruction, and it is prevalent, So while them pay some people some big money, pertaining to judges and all of these things, we see where the judges then come after 9 people on behalf of all of us in Jamaica, carry the government to court to stop the mining in the cockpit country that is destroying the environment and affecting the lives of people in the cockpit country, and not just the people in the cockpit country, but will affect all Jamaicans' life, and we realize that some judge come up one day and say, watch out, we are going to ease the injunction. So mining start again in that era, I believe it is, mining something another 173 after some injunction, and the case was supposed to be held in sometime November and December. But this is where the power play take place in Jamaica. Everything is a power play, and it's who can buy out who. And the next thing we see are going, all about the place. It's like the campaign machine turn on right now. You see, we see the two party out there expressing themselves. We don't know what's going on at Trelawney yet, because we're still in limbo, to know who is going to represent. Dan doing poll again. So there's a second poll taking place in Trelawney now. Watch ya. Yeah.
Yeah, they're persons, with Don Anderson, they're, doing a poll in Trelawney, asking questions, of course, about Dennis Meadows, and Suzette Brown, and the sitting MP.
Okay.
Some kind of cute questions they're asking, because I was approached. So they've been asking, some questions. So persons will look out for, those pollsters around. They're around, Want to know who would you vote for in the next general election, that sort of thing. So we're listening out for the results.
This one's supposed to be the official poll then, if it's done on this.
Well, we'll see. Yes.
So after this result, because we understand there was a result where it is not an official result. I am going to say that it was, because if it was official, why we have a second poll? Yeah. So after this one, we will see who come out on top and see who will be
public opinion.
Public opinion poll. So we'll see now who is the choiced person, or who will become the caretaker for the People's National Party.
But remember, Amara, the polls does not.
We know the delegate are yeah, we know that the delegate are talking, but we know that. So just I say the poll select, and then after that,
see what happened.
The executive procedure, make we call it that, we'll see what happened there, because it's an interesting time, in Jamaica, and we love it. We love it. We just want to say it not create anything that is going to divide us further. Whatever we are doing now, we must always see how we can come together to move forward as a people, because the divide and rule tactics are hurting us. And it is sad that, people who is from out of the people and become leaders of this country, who should really, helping to lift them country, working against the people and working for foreign agents and oligarchs who have been our enslavers for years, the bloodlines of the people who enslave us still continue to do that up till today, until our people come to the full understanding of themselves and understand that this is much more bigger than bread and butter. You know, this is much more bigger than a T-shirt and a $10,000 and, you know, a ride on a bus we go National Arena or wherever and we go get some Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know what I mean? We're much more than this Jamaican people. You know what I mean? And we want you to understand, you know, the whole thing of voting, that if somebody can buy a vote, you're a slave. You already sold your right to those individuals who pay for that vote. You know, I'm not talk again. You know what I mean? You know that. That if I sell your vote, if a politician pay for your vote, you know, I'm not right to talk again. Because you just give up that right. And this is something we want people to start to come into knowledge with. That you must make your decision, you know, free and fair with your own conscience. Don't allow anybody to coerce you with neither money or talk. Observe what is happening, you know, see what kind of policy that can really impact the country and lift the country out of the kind of the dilemma that it is in right now. You understand? And as we say, all hands have to be on deck. You know, if we really want to make the change that we want to see, we must put all hands on deck. And we have to have that dialogue, constant communication. You know what I mean? And we're talking about constitutional reform. We're talking about central bank digital currency. You know, these are some things that you must talk to the people about, you know, especially people who are, you know, representative of their constituency. You're supposed to engage the people, you know what I mean, to hear the people's views. You know, this is not you imposing your will on the people. The people must have a say in all that is happening. We are all stakeholders of this country called Jamaica. Every single one of we. You understand? We see them talk about what you call it now, reparation now, how much in $1 trillion, you know, and we're reading to these things, you know. But let me say, we can't go to this thing and I'll see before we wrap up the program. How many $1 trillion, you know, into this thing what we call reparation. You know, it is amazing, you know. And when I look on the people who is at this table, you know, you have to laugh that these people are still there, agitating, advocating. Professor Vereen Shepherd. Julia, want to see if we can get Vereen Shepherd here one of the week, you know. I don't know if it's next week. Dr. Coleman Bezilon, practice co-leader intellectual property, Brattle Group, Judge Patrick Robinson Center, former honorary president of the American Society of International Law, and P.J. Patterson, former Prime Minister of Jamaica, and statesman in the residence of P.J. Patterson Institute for Africa Caribbean Advocacy of the UWI, at the launch of the report of the quantification of reparation for transatlantic chattel enslavement in the Americas and the Caribbean. The event was hosted at the University of the West Indies Regional Headquarters in Kingston. Trillions of dollars in reparation are owed to nations affected by slavery. A recently concluded study on the quantification of reparations for transatlantic chattel slavery, TCS, in the Americas and the Caribbean has found trillions. When you hear that something they say has found, some people must say, well, my little one there. Saying, but one of the things that we read further, because more people understand what is happening. The report identifies the reparations that are due in respect to 31 countries in which TCS was practiced, which is transatlantic chattel slavery, right? According to Judge Patrick Robinson, former honorary president of the American Society of International Law and project initiator, who spoke on the report's launch yesterday at the regional headquarters of the University of the West Indies. To assess the reparation that are due, it must be established that the injuries or harm suffered by the enslaved are the consequence of wrongful conduct by those who carried out TCS. The economic estimation were made in the context of harms experienced during the enslavement and post-enslavement periods. The calculation in the report were done by a group of U.S. economists from the Brattle Group, guided by a team of lawyers, historians, and history students. Economists, yeah? Okay. Jamaica's due. In his presentation of some of the findings in the report, Robinson disclosed that Britain is required to pay 14 countries a sum of $24 trillion, of which Jamaica would receive approximately 9.5 trillion. How much we owe World Bank and them thing there right now? About 1 trillion them say. See? And we see $1 trillion. We want to know if a Jamaica dollar, because we don't want to trick with this thing. Or it's 9.5 trillion US. We want to know if it's US because it must US. Then if them agree, and if we come to that conclusion, is the only thing now is for us and them to sit at the table to see how this thing are going to go. Because it means that it must be some kind of dialogue pertaining to how this money are going to pay. And it's not just to pay away. We want to know if allow it to with the life. You understand? Because you can't, it's just, we have to observe these things, because there was a trick that took place. Just like what them did tell we say, we're not free. 1830, yet 1834, them say we're not free. But whenever I have no land, free people can't have no land, can't say you can't be free and don't have land. How that work? You're free, but you're still landless. Where you going to live? On the sea? You understand? Or in the air? Where? But you're free. You understand? So when you talk about paying reparation, what entails in all of that? The whole reparation thing. We must look and pay attention, because some people can't, especially with the central bank digital currency. Imagine them say, yes, we're giving a $9.8 trillion. But when we get that 9.8, nobody no get none, because it is still in their bank. Who control the bank? Them same one. How it work? You understand? So we have to pay attention to these statements. Now I'll continue, because we have a little time. Headline delivered to all right. That he further outlined that for Spain, about 17 trillion was to be paid over, of which Jamaica would receive. So it's more than that, That is Britain about just Huawei 9.5 trillion. But Spain Huawei too. So further, Spain was to be paid over, of which Jamaica would receive a sum of 102 billion to add upon the 9.5. The research shows that the United States is required to pay approximately 26 trillion for its practice of the transatlantic chattel slavery from 1776 to 1865, and that France required to pay 4 countries approximately US 9 trillion. So how them put it there? So Portugal is required to pay 20 trillion to Brazil. This is the part you kind of have me I wonder. Brazil is required to pay about 4 trillion in respect to its practice of the transatlantic chattel slavery in Brazil from 1822 to 1888, and the Netherlands is required to pay approximately US 5 trillion, of which about 3 trillion should be paid to Suriname and about 52 billion to Guyana. The aggregate of sum of reparations to be paid by all former slave owning states total 107.8 trillion, Robinson said. The report stated that the total harm estimated from enslavement is between US 100 trillion and US 131 trillion. An advisory committee was established to resolve difficult issues arising from the assessment of reparation. Robinson stated that the committee spent an extended period deliberating on whether the figure should be reduced, but later agreed that it should remain on the basis of figures reflecting the enormity of the unlawful practice. Nonetheless, it's decided to recommend to countries entitled to reparation that they consider in consultation with the former slave-owning countries. That is it. Former slave-owning countries. I can't understand that because you could have said Jamaica was a slave-owning country. But another country did own slave. Is some bloodline, some family line like the Crown, like some of the Barretts, like some of them with the name Stuart, like Trelawney, William Trelawney, who did come as a own slaves. You understand? And Stuart Castles, all of these people. Yeah. You understand? So this is where me I look on. Me kind of want to understand what I saw, you know. Countries entitled to reparation by considering the consultation with former slave-owning countries. That reparation may be paid over a 10-year period, a 15-year period, 20-year period, and 25-year period. That means me and I have none forget, you know, Julia, because by the time he said, adding that such an arrangement should be secured through a binding agreement. When me hear them kind of language, I start to think differently. The report, Robinson said, does not address the earnings of plantation owners, bank insurance companies, and other entities that profit from transatlantic shackle slave as a group, as the group was still working to access the relevant data to sort. But now they saw all of the money there. Oh, that no work out. And them benefit the most. You know, the insurance company them, especially. Because if you go back and read some of those history, you know what I mean? The insurance companies them used to literally kill slave and collect for them, throw them overboard. You know what I mean? Wreck ship and collect for them, you know, as their properties, as their investment, you know. So those was written off, as some of our ancestors were written off as liabilities, and they got compensation. It's only us, and up till today we are talking about this reparation thing. And you know, I mean, with my radical mind, I always question the King's councils, them and these people who sit down and really agitate for these things on our behalf. See? Because I want to read further that people can understand why we have to think that way there. Why we have to think that way there. It's assessment of the reparation owed in the post-enslavement period. The Brattle Group used the measure of wealth disparity between the descendants of the enslaved and their colonizer. 31 countries also cited to benefit from this. Reparation to be paid by Britain total $2 trillion, of which they are required to pay Jamaica about $564 billion. To the overall estimation of the reparation for the post-enslavement period, US 22.9 trillion. The advisory committee position is it is the descendant of the enslaved African who should be the beneficiaries of the reparations that are due, he said. The advisory committee position is that it is the descendant of the enslaved African who should be the beneficiaries of the reparation that are due, he said. Robinson further said that he strongly believed that the money should not be handed over to the individual, but that they should be used for development of the country. This is where you say, Julia, me want my money. Oh, you are going to tell me about about development. Who are going to do all of these development? Who are going to benefit from these development? You understand? Other parts I can't take. And that's why I'm always wary of these people. You know what I mean? Why no? You say Robinson further, let me read it again that people can understand. Robinson said that he strongly believed that the money should not be handed over to the individuals, but that they should be used for development of the country and assist in providing services in areas such as health, housing, technology, of which the descendants of the enslaved are deprived. You see, we must observe keenly, and that's why we say, within these times, we need thinkers, you know, we need thinkers, and we want our people to be vigilant, you know. We want even these young girls that they must start to read, you know, go to the relevant websites and see what is happening. Because one of the things that the government are doing, and government across the world are doing, them not hide nothing, you know, them are post it, but them have so much information that them give out that most of we don't really have the time. But as much as we can make the sacrifice and make some time, we must go to all the PIOJ website, you know, and see the Planning Institute of Jamaica, because of them have this big committee, some highly paid persons there. We need to know how much some of those people, yeah, how much money them getting at the last salary increase. Those people at the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, you know, because there is where all of the plans, you know, are putting in place for us, our children, and our grandchildren, you know. And if we don't understand the measures and the system that they are putting in place, you know, the whole constitutional reform and all of these things, then we're just going to find ourselves, you know, in a new kind of slavery. Because one of the things where people don't understand, that slavery is an economic venture, and it is a powerful system that makes some guys powerful, that you could own other human being as your property. You understand? And up till now, because of that traumatic experience, a lot of our people, if I hear some people get up and both say them I go up on the slave. Yeah. Why, you know, say, me I go up on the slave, you know. Yeah, Mr. Virgin, you say I go. Yeah, man, you know, says, you know, me have to go up on the slave, you know, to go eat a food. You know, that kind of mindset. And you believe that. You know what I mean? And you don't have the courage to get up and say, I need to liberate myself. I need to move myself from under the system. See, we have to do it through our voices. We have to do it, you know, through our action. You know, we must get up and do something, because it is very important for us to participate in the political process, in the economic process of our country, that we can totally liberate ourselves. You know, there's no politician who have any more power over you and I. You know, if we know how to keep ourselves active, if we know how to communicate effectively, you know, with one another, then we can really be the change that we want to see. You understand? And before me left, me want to call out to the people them again that, you know, you must go out and support. I will see what I can do on this day, you know what I mean? Which is Thursday. You know, I can read this again. For Trelawney, we will stand in Water Square. We are inviting all to stand with us on Thursday, June 15, 2023, 12 noon to 2 p.m. The Neighborhood Watch movement is standing mourning against the murdering of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe and against crime in Jamaica. Right? So the Neighborhood Watch. See? We are standing in our town spaces. We are wearing black. Community groups that will participate. Parents, agencies, police, youth clubs, Jamaicans, PTA, and schools, you know. Come out, everybody. come out. But as I said, pay attention to what is happening around you. Pay attention. We must be proactive, than being reactive, because if somebody was proactive, that little girl would still be here with us. You know what I mean? If somebody was paying attention, some alarm would have been raised that we could prevent what happened to this girl. But as I say, it happened already, and we are going to react and we are going to stand up because of what happened. It is sad, and we are living in a dark age right here in Jamaica. And, so much happening. We see the Asian president there, and we see the prime minister talk about Haiti while picnic a cut in Jamaica. God, how we go? See the amount of shooting and murder we see are going in Jamaica. We see Jamaica, the sister just said it a while ago, one of the queen, that them understand that Jamaica is just above Haiti. So why we pay attention to Haiti? It's a country, it's a people, them still, But I believe we should have a stronger committee. We should have, a Caribbean committee who deal with that, why our prime minister want to take on this, and we still can't sort out the situation that we are facing here in Jamaica. You know what I mean? We have to rise up and we have to wake up. It's a community buzz. We give thanks, kind of a half an hour alone roll, but we're at the feet at any time. We have so many information, so many things that we can talk about for the next 2 or 3 hours if we did there or want to be here. But we're happy that we are in this space, and we give thanks for Trelawney Radio, Fit FM, and we are growing. Believe it. Small, but we are growing, and we are calling on the people within the community. Support this movement called Fit FM. And we give thanks to Primal Media, another media network that is doing a great job, connecting people worldwide, So we give thanks for that, and we are here doing what we can to make our world be a safer and a kinder place. See, this is Aymara, the musical revolutionary. I will just have a bounce a piece of tune and go out and just chill, and we'll see you forward next strong. We'll see which guest we will have on, So stay tuned. Next strong. Daniel, me soon come check you. See, bless up my brother.